number one problem is this right here, day one. And 9 times out of 10, that's really what you're working on. You're working on session lengths and you're working on day one. And so for those of you who do have experience using analytics in your games, there's a good chance that at this point you begin building funnels, right? One after the other, funnel after funnel after funnel, trying to find where that churn is. And that's great. We can absolutely build, and we will build funnels in ByteBrew, but I've always found funnels to be a very specific question, right? And I want to make sure, A, that it's the right question, it's the only question I should be asking, but also will the answer, lead me down the right path towards resolving the KPIs that I'm seeing? And so my own personal approach is just to be a little bit more curious with the data and I want to get a kind of a lay of the land of everything that's happening. And so for that, I first turned to journeys. And what journeys is going to show me is the flow of users across custom events in my game. Here's a list of events that you can see that I have integrated in the game. So things like player level up have a host of parameters, not only level, which I'd expect to see, but other sort of contextual parameters of things that could be taking place around that. So things like, how much currency are they holding, or how much have they engaged in one system versus the other, things like that. And so I should also warn you, actually, I should have said this at the very beginning. One, because this is a real game, I often kind of get curious on the fly and start building just random reports as I'm presenting. I will try to keep it very constrained because I know we have a time limit. But just as a heads up, sometimes I get curious, and that's just the way she goes. All right, so what we're going to do first, so again, thinking about day one retention in this first session, really what I want to analyze first is churn in my first session. This is the most important thing. So I'm just going to show you how to build this report. It's super easy. I have it saved already, and I can load this anytime I want, but just to show you how to work through it. I'm going to choose user install as my very first event. I'm going to track by session. I'm going to go top 20th percentile of top values. That's just shared paths, more data. And I'm going to go show drop-offs and apply. And yeah, it doesn't take too long to load. It's pretty clean. And so what we can see here now is that flow of users across custom events in my game, right? And where they drop off in particular. So for example, user install to drop off, these are users who don't even get into the game at all, right? And so if you see something like that in your game, and I know that sort of landing page to click play moment on a web game is very critical, right? In terms of shortening that. That's kind of what you're looking at here, but more in the mobile framework. So definitely thinking about what tech issues could be preventing users from accessing the game between install, right, or after install. Is the loading time taking too long? I might want to analyze that. And so I think the last masterclass, as it outlined web optimization, would be a good one to review in terms of making sure that you shorten that time between install or the game appearing in front of somebody on the portal and them actually hitting the play button to jump into the game, right? Super, super critical. Other points of drop off here, play button to drop off, obviously problematic. There's a little bit of drop off around here, but this one right here, this is big, right? Combo tricks count to drop off. Now, again, you need to know the game and you need to know the events to really understand what this is telling you. I know that to play the game, it's a twin stick skateboarding game, left stick to move, right stick for tricks. Tricks are performed by flicking in a particular direction. Each direction has its own trick, or I can just tap to do like a little jump, right? Maybe not the best control scheme. We'll see. Now, so I know that combo tricks is really just somebody doing a couple tricks, really quickly in a row. I can exclude it if I want to clean up my report a little bit, and I can go apply. And so now that same drop-off point will be preceded by trick performed, right? I've got trick performed, I've got player level up to drop off, and I've got find crate to drop off, and unsurprisingly, add watch to drop off as well, as is often the case. But trick performed is really, really concerning because everybody that comes into this game comes in organically. They look for a skateboarding game. They see this. They think, oh, that looks like fun. I want to do that. Then they jump into the game and they start doing tricks and they immediately bounce, right? That's a problem. And it's a problem with the core mechanic of the game, which, if I have day one retention at 16%, I know I'm dealing with a core mechanic problem. And so, the lower that day one percentage is, or the lower your session lengths are, the more the fundamental mechanic of the game needs to be addressed. And so, maybe there's a particular trick that is leading to more churn than the rest. If I want, what I can do with journeys is expand my custom events by the parameters that I attach to them. So I'm just going to go trick parameters expanded by trick, which is the name. Now, as I mentioned, each direction is a trick, and there's even like little combos you can do. So this is going to get pretty noisy pretty fast, right? So probably not going to spend a ton of time trying to zoom in and out and analyze this, right? There's probably faster ways to try to understand why the core mechanic, insofar as tricks being performed, is contributing to this day one retention. So with that, I'm going to hop over to our next tool, which is breakdowns. I'm just going to open this in a new tab.